going to start recording. Good morning. Today is the last session of this semester. Today is January 20th, and we are going to be talking a little bit about some recommendations of how to write this technical report, the final project. Probably you noticed that the previous project on plane stress, I was very strict on the report. I'm not going to give away points. You just prepare something and put it in and send it. No, I'm not going to give you good grades if you do not put enough effort in that, okay? Also, I have a big problem now with those of you who could not complete correctly the evaluation on the previous quiz. Because if you're not able to show me that you can indeed work with ANSYS, I was very direct and clear with you. Those students should not approve this class. Let's see what happens, but okay, let's do it. Can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, let's see if I can. Full presentation?
Yes.
So these recommendations come from a very long time ago. You can see here, 2006. I was the director of the Revista Tecnológica at that time. The director, an editor, and all of that. So we collected some experience on this aspect. And there was a project at that time financed by an entity from Holland or Belgium or something like that. And they asked me to do these presentations for the instructors, for the faculty, because they thought that this could be quite useful for everybody to start or pushing in improving this preparation of technical work. So this is the first version, and now I'm giving you a revised version. I revised it last year, and for this year, I made some very small changes in that one. Okay, these are the like the table of contents for this presentation. We're gonna say a little bit about each one of these topics. Okay, title, right? I'm going to insist on you that you are the one who have to put the title to your project, okay? Contents, especially about redaction, there are certain keys that I insist in class, but I'm going to insist one more time. Conclusions, that's something that, yeah, we need to emphasize. And finally, just one comment about bibliography, because you do not pay enough attention to that. Okay, so let's see. How about the title? Okay, for example, this is an example of a thesis from mechanical engineering at that time. Okay, at that time, each one of these graduation work was presented to the CISE. In that time, it was called a different way, but anyway. And so we collected all of these summaries, and from them, we selected some of them, which were finally published in this technical magazine, Revista Tecnológica. So this was the title of one of these mechanical engineering thesis. Any comment on that? Misayo, how can you tell about this title? Misayo, are you there?
I'm here, doctor.
Okay. Any comment from this title?
I believe that it is so large.
Exactly.
Maybe you can reduce or have a resume.
It's extremely long. It's extremely long. This other for example, was from a thesis from the tourism, right? The bachelor in tourism. Any comment on that, Mr. Zambrano? Any comment on this title?
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Exactly. The one is very long, the other one is very short. I mean, this, if you read these, you have no idea of what to expect in that work. Okay, so I talked to the author, and this is the final title for that. Okay, so in this case, for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So probably there are more than 30 words in this title. In this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, between these two, we have this number. So there's no strict number, okay? But more or less, 15 words, it's a good number to have in our mind, okay? In some cases, yeah, you can accept to go to 16, 17, but definitely above 20, that's just too long, okay? And on the other direction, right, if you use, for example, 10 words, it's going to be a little bit difficult to have, as I said here, clear idea of what to expect from this work, okay? So everybody right now, take a little paper and write the title of your final project, okay? Everybody get a piece of paper and write the title of your work. Or you can write it in Word, and I can ask you to share the screen with me, with everybody. Please. So I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to allow you to share the screen. 1 minute. Title of your project. Isaac and Genesis. If I ask somebody and they don't answer, please remove it from this session, because it doesn't make any sense to be calling them if they are not here, okay? Please. If they can wake up later on, they can come in again, but remove them from this session if they do not answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Alarcon, do you have the title of your report, the project? Mr. Alarcon?
Hello, doctor.
Do you have the title?
Oh, the title I don't.
You don't like? You don't want to work?
Exact.
You don't want to work with me? Fine, that's okay. Mr. Zamora, do you have the title of your project?
Yes, doctor, but I write in a paper.
No. Write it in Word. Okay, so you can share the screen with us, and we can see, and we can comment. That's all. Can you share the screen with us so we can see what you have written, please? Man, read it, please. Read it.
Analysis of the collision bulkhead in several conditions.
Okay. There is a couple of words that we need to include about the method. What is the method that you're using, Mr. Zamora?
I just try to
The method that you are using to solve this problem. The method. What?
Finite element method.
Exactly. So good, because this is a numerical analysis. Okay, so it's different if you try to do this analytically, like using the material from the previous class, ship structure. You could try to use that, but it's very long, very complex, right? And since it is very long and complex, you look for alternatives. One of the alternatives is the finite element method. Yes, so, and something which is very interesting also is that, okay, I have a boat, right? And we have a bulkhead. I have a super tanker, right? And also I have a bulkhead. And it's going to be a good idea if you tell me a little bit about the size of your system, okay? Miss Vera, do you have your title?
Yes, Dr. Good morning.
Okay, can you share with us, or
Yes.
please? I don't know, where are you? Okay, there you go.
Yes. The analysis of a structure between decks in the engine room of a container ship using finite elements.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. How many words do you have? Content, please.
I think almost 15. One.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah. That's a good word.
Okay.
The only thing, okay, that could be enough, right? But could be a good idea if you include something about the size of the ship. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if you could do it. The problem is that if you include much more information, probably you're going to go beyond the suggested number of words. But anyway,
Yes.
see, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, people. So let's go on with our presentation. So that's about the type. Can you see my presentation, Genesis?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so that's about the title, okay? Now, the summary. Okay, this is what I read from a certain reference about it. Miss Kumbe, could you please read it? Miss Kumbe, could you please read it?
Yeah.
Miss Kumbe, would you please read it? Miss Kumbe, can you hear me? Please.
Yes, doctor, I can speak.
Oh, you are in, you got problems with the throat? Okay, thank you. No problem, no
Yes.
problem. Okay, Mr. Matute, can you read this, please?
Good morning, doctor. The abstract is a very brief review of your entire study.
There is a point there. Okay, do it again, please.
Okay, the abstract is a very brief overview of your entire study.
Of your entire study. Because, see, this is something that we have insisted. You have to tell the audience that the sentence ends there. Of your entire study. Okay, here. Entire. What do you mean entire? It's everything. So you have to give me an idea of everything which I can find in this report. Okay, go on.
It tell the reader what you
Hold
did.
on. There is an S here. I didn't hear it. Please do it again.
Yeah, it tells the reader what you did, why you did it, how you did it, what you found, and what it means.
Exactly. So you see here you see what I expect to find in the abstract. All of these things. Okay, go on.
The abstract shall briefly state the purpose of the research, introductions, how the problem was studied, methods, the principal findings and results, and what the finding means, discussion and conclusions.
Exactly. So there is an explanation of what to expect. Okay. So this basically, these are the main parts of the report. Okay. Introduction, then something about the methodology or a theoretical part of things like that. Then results, analysis, they talk about discussion, and finally some conclusions. Okay. Go on, please.
It is important to be described but concise.
No. Describe not. It's
Describe.
important to be
Described by
descriptive. Okay.
descriptive.
That means that it is important to avoid numbers. Okay. So it's better to be use descriptive words. Okay. But go on.
Both consist.
Size. Okay.
Yeah, only what is essential, using no more words than necessary to convey meaning.
Exactly. So we need to tell me all of this, only that, because you have only 550 words in order to do it. Okay. So let's go on. Here in the next slide, I have repeated this question. What you did, why you did, how you did it, what you found, and what it means. Okay, let's do an exercise. Everybody, get a Word file, and write something. Okay, for example, oops, sorry. There. Let's think about the first question. Okay, what you did. What you did. For example, Mr. Diaz, Big Mar Diaz, can you tell me what would you put in the summary about this question, what you did in this project? Let's suppose that you completed the project, right? And you are writing the report. Can you tell me something about what you did? Mr. Diaz, Big Mar Diaz. Okay, go on. Can you tell me what you did in the project, if you did something?
The process.
No, come on. What you did in the project? What you did in the project? No, you see, I'm not asking what you as Mr. Diaz specifically did. No, but for the whole project, what was the project was about? What was the project about? Okay. What did you do? Okay, to answer this question here. No, you didn't do much. Okay, Mr. Ortega, tell me, what you did? What would you put in the report about this question?
But first, Doctor, I had a simple question. Do you recommend for us to use passive voice? That means, for example, I just write.
That's a very good question.
A discretization was made for a structure of double bottom and the two decks, or we can write.
Okay. Let me write here. You say that discretization.
I can share if you want.
Now, let me write here. Discretization. Okay. My point is this what you did? I think you did more than that. Yeah. Anybody? Anybody?
Maybe a structural analysis.
Exactly. This is what you did. So this was a step, but finally was an analysis. Okay. Let's go to the second question. Why you did it? Mr. Iñiguez, why you did it?
The search possible phase in the structure.
Possible failure. Okay, Okay, but you can write it in a different way. It's just, you wanted to check the safety of the structure, right? How you did it, Mr. Carrillo? How you did it? How you did it?
We have the two methods, analytic and theory.
You did that?
Yes.
You did analytical analysis? Come
on. Use as a literature.
No. Believe me, you didn't solve this analytically. You solved this numerically using finite element method.
Sorry.
You don't need to say sorry. You don't need to say sorry. Okay, how? That's a method. So in this case, the method. And in here, there are some information that could be useful about how you did it. Any comment on that, Ms. Matias, about the method? Ms. Matias, are you there?
Yes, doctor.
Any, for example, what information would you include in this part of the abstract, of the summary? Before you do the analysis, okay, that's something that you have here. Before you do that, what can you say about the method? Some detail of the method. Ms. Lopez, any idea here for this part? Ms. Lopez?
Employee analysis. Employee analysis.
No, I know that's but okay, use of ANSYS. But anything else before going into the here we have what you found. See, here are the results. Before analyzing the results, what do you have to do here? Any comment, Ms. Sayo?
I don't know if we put in there the discretization maybe,
Exactly,
or the
exactly, something like that. Any detail about the discretization? And what is important about the discretization, Mr. Nevares? What is very important about discretization?
To have everything connected.
Okay, that's everything connected, right? But see, the thing is this, okay? If you tell me that you insist that yes, everything is connected and all of that, this is something that we assume. If you analyze something, a structure which is not connected, makes no sense.
Well, talking about the discretization, the quality is very important.
The quality, okay, what else?
The convergence?
Exactly. Could be here, you could say something about the quality and a specific,
how big is
and the convergence. Yeah. How about the results? I mean, this is extremely important, right? Because because this is what we're looking for. Is there any idea? What can you tell me about that? What would you put to say something about the results in the abstract? Mr. Wacon, what would you say in the result? What would you include as part of the results in the abstract? Mr. Wacon? Cannot hear you, Mr. Wacon. Is there any problem with the microphone? I can see that you turn on your microphone, but I cannot hear you. Okay.
Yes.
Go on. Go on.
The deformation and the stress.
Okay, but if you say the deformation, you will have a zillion of values. What was the most? Okay, go on.
You said the condition.
Yeah, but the thing is, what are you going to, are you going to explain me that in the summary? You have only 250. Ah, come on. You have 250 words. I am not going to accept more than that. I'm going to penalize you if you don't, you go beyond this number. So you have to be very precise of what you tell me. That's what I'm asking you. What would you put in this respect in this summary? What would you put? How would you summarize your results?
In the summary is the instruction, the step in the program, the ANSYS.
No. We don't want, see, you see here is that you are trying to see the possibility of a failure. So here, the results have to go along with this. Anybody else? Any idea? What would you put in the results?
Compare the results. We need to compare the stress with the
problem.
plastic,
we have to be very careful because you have only 250 words. So here, probably what you need to do is to mention or describe the max values of stress. Maybe deflection and possibility of buckling or critical. But you have to be careful because, as we said before, it's not a good idea to include in the summary many numbers. It's just description. Okay. Another thing which is very important is that when you, yesterday, one of the presentations said they just show the model. This is the model, but they didn't say anything about, for example, what was the point where you have this, the largest stress, and how close was that to failure in this case. So all of this is here, okay? But try to use not many numbers. Basically here, you need to describe the results. And finally, here, what would you put in your case, Mr. Arias, and what this means? Let's suppose that you have certain values of stresses, deflections, and critical, or you can compare, for example, some stresses, compressive stresses with the critical values of a certain element. What would you summarize that here? What it means to you?
To the analysis of results.
No, yeah, but what would you put?
I think the comparison with the analytical with the.
No, analytical, please,
no,
please. You're not that smart, believe me. Yes. No, there is no analytical solution of this problem, believe me.
The approximate solution.
No. Remember, this is what we're trying to determine. This is something like the conclusion. Any idea? Anybody, please? Ms. Guthenberg.
Compare with the stress condition is the structure.
This is here. Here, what it means. Let's suppose that you say that here, for example, the maximum value of stress occur at I don't know, the third reinforcement in the longitudinal direction, and it is well below the yield point. Let's suppose that's the description of your results. What can you say? What can you say here for this part? What it means to you?
And maybe we can take out some stiffeners from there.
No. I'm telling you here that the stress is below the yield point. What that means to you?
The structure is okay. So the structure is not fire.
Exactly. The structure is, I'm going to use your words. Okay, that's what you said, right? I don't know who spoke, but I think this is what he said. Yes, well, you're not going to write like this, right? Because this is a formal writing, and you don't say that, but you can say that with other words. So this is the content of the abstract. Now here, you have to be careful because what you did is that here you have to describe your structure. Okay. So you analyze this in order to determine possible failure because of this or that. This is the method that you employed. You can say something about the quality of the mesh, the convergence of the several discretizations that you analyzed, and finally say something about the results and a final word about what these results mean in 250 words. Can you imagine? Any questions about this, please? Now, let me change color because there was a very good question from Mr. Ortega. He's the winner of the Naval Engineering Student Technical Sessions. In general, okay, that depends on the magazine where you want to publish this, but in general, the abstract is expected to be written. Since I expect to prepare this after completing the project, this is expected to be written in past. So it's going to be past tense. So it's something, see, it's like saying, I did it, and this is the summary of what I did already. So that's why usually this is written in past tense. Okay? Any word, any question, people? Okay, if not, let's go on. Now the content. Oh man, what happened here? Okay, content, contents. Mr. Wacon, would you please read it?
Yes, doctor. The author must be very careful with the...
Please, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Wacon, but it's a T here. Go on, repeat it.
The author must be very careful.
Please, I like to listen to the T, the last T. I'm sorry to be so insistent here. Go on, please, Mr. Wacon.
The author must be very careful with the orthography. Remember.
Yeah. Please, you have to be very careful with that. Very careful with now. Right now, in the Word, you have this correction or a corrector. So if you see that something changed color or something gets underscored or something like that, that's a signal. Okay, so try to follow the signals. Okay, go on.
Yes, doctor. And remember that the responsibility does not fall on the reviewer, but on the author.
Okay, so if you present this, okay, to be published, okay, you are the responsible for the orthography. It is possible that the reviewer picks some errors, but the final responsibility, if there is some errors, some orthographic errors, typo or whatever, in the final report, it's your responsibility, not his. Okay, so please be careful. Mr. Gokon, go on, please.
Even how it depends on the publication, normally the reaching it is performed in present tense, third person singular.
Exactly. Mr. Ortega?
Yep.
Okay, so usually, so this is, I mean, it depends on the publication, but usually the summary is written in past tense, while the rest, the main body of this article is written in a present tense, third person singular. You don't say, we did it. You say, it is done, or it is performed, or something like that. Okay, so it's third person singular, present tense. Okay, it can change depending on the magazine or the journal where you want to publish, but that's something which is very common. Okay, this is the danger. Saying too much, especially what I can tell you is that usually in the introduction, it's like piling up many things, many things. You bring from the class notes, you bring from here, you see in a book, get some information and paste it in the introduction. But that's a lot of information that you do not need to include. Okay, for example, I have here, this is a figure that I saw a long time ago. Let's suppose that you want to go from A to B, from A to B, from A to B. Okay, and from going from A to B, you have to write something. Okay, you can go like this and finally reach the point, or you can go like this and finally reach B, or you can go straight up from A to B. Okay, and I don't want to be I don't want to insult anybody, but usually this is connected, this is related to the Oriental type of writing. Okay, this is ours. We are very, I mean, we change directions rapidly. And this is the gringo way. You want to say that, you say, and that's all what you need to say. You need to say what you did, that's what you did. That's all. You don't need to say anything else. So we have to be very aware, okay, of this is the typical way for us, for you and me, to write. And usually in a report, we don't need that much of information, blah, blah, blah. We need to go like this, okay? And here is an example. I don't want to mean insultive, so I erased this part here. Okay, this is the beginning of a letter. En representación del Cantón DAC, provincia de TAC, muy respetuosamente nos dirigimos a usted para luego de expresarle un fraterno y cordial saludo, desear toda clase de éxito en el desarrollo de tan altas intenciones y al mismo tiempo exponer lo siguiente. You see? Remember that the very first sentence is extremely important to transmit what you want to transmit. And here, this is everything. I'm wishing you success in your duties, but nothing about what we would like to say. Okay, people, it's 7:50, so let's take a break here, and we can continue doing this kind of exercise, okay? So let's take a 5-minute break here, and then we will return on continuing on these recommendations to prepare the report. 5-minute break.